Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I have my update for Pan Those Eyeshadows. This was originally created by Alexi, so I will have her channel linked down below. She does not post anymore, but all of her videos are still up, I'm assuming. I actually haven't looked in a while, but I have watched some of her older videos and they're still entertaining to this day. But everyone who participates in this project does it a little differently, and I will explain my rules in just a moment. But if you're new here, I hope you subscribe. I do mostly panning content and I throw some get ready with me's in the mix as well. I love palette bingos and just any way that I can get use out of my collection. I am on a no buy this year, so yeah, I'm just trying to love what I already have. If that sounds interesting to you, I hope you subscribe and of course give this video a thumbs up. So I'm pretty sure the video before this was my get ready with me talking about this past year being an unemployed mom at home, and I did share with you guys that I started a new job, which is very exciting, but it has not started out as expected. I mean, does anything? I have been really sick, so I've actually only worked 2 days at my job, and I am very behind on filming, so I'm trying to do 3 videos today. Hopefully that happens. I'm still sick. I'm filming this on the 4th, which is a Tuesday, and I'm very nauseous right now. My house got like a stomach bug. Without going into detail, basically if I eat anything, it's gonna come out on whichever end it decides. And yes, but I am feeling more, I have like more energy today. I've been able to drink water. I have had like some toast, things like that, and I think I can see the end of the tunnel. I'm so behind on filming and I just needed to get this done. In my get ready with me, I did say that might be like the last time I film in this spot, but because I am home sick and it's during the day, I can film here. So I'm going to take advantage of this window as long as I can. And I do have the palettes in front of me. I do have a very exciting update, so I wanted to be sure to get it up as soon as possible. Honestly, one of these shades was a surprise and I was very happy. But let's just get into my rules. I forgot to explain my rules. Hold on, I need an ice break. I've been chewing on ice. It just feels so good in my mouth. You know when you're sick and you're vomiting, your mouth gets really dry. Yeah. So I'm working on 7 shades in this project. That's a lot. And 3 of them are from 3 randomized palettes from my spreadsheet. I have all of my palettes listed alphabetically, and then from those randomized palettes I hand select the shade. I think that is how the original creator did this project, and so I kind of wanted to pay homage to her, and I've been liking it so far. I know it's only just beginning March, but these last 2 months that I was able to do that really worked in my favor. Then I have 2 shades that are in the Expand Those Pans project. This was created by Dora from Fuchsia Soul. Basically, you roll in an eyeshadow that already has pan in it, and my goal is to use those shades 5 times within the month, just to get a little more love, because I always neglect the eyeshadows that I've already hit pan on. And then I also have 2 more shades. One is my lid setting shade. I just thought it would be fun to track how many uses it takes to hit pan on my lid setting shades, like depending on the formula, the brand, etc. I'm also doing a challenge with my makeup bestie Tina. Her handle is Tina Misdemeanor on Instagram, and we are challenging each other to see how many shades, lid setting shades for us, that we can hit pan on this year. I have beat her so far. I did hit a pan last update, and I have not heard from her that she has hit a pan, but we'll see if I have another pan today. And then the last shade is my brow shade. So I do have a eyeshadow in my brows today You will find out what it is in a second. If you're familiar with this project, you might already know what it is, but if you're new here, you'll find out. That was so weird and awkward. So let's just get into it. I start out with the 3 randomized palettes first. And that first one is going to be from my ColourPop That's Taupe palette. And this is actually a very disappointing update for the shadow because somehow, after my last update, I put this back into my eyeshadow inventory drawer and not my panning drawer. So last update I had 6 uses. I did use this one more time, but that is from my update. I always create a look at the end of my updates. That's why I don't have a look on today. So I guess it will look a little different from the last update. How many times can I say update? But I've only used it that one time. I completely forgot about it. This is what here it is now. Yeah, I could have easily hit pan in this. But it'll be an easy pan for next update, I guess. It did allow me to focus on other shades. This is a very similar shade to something in my Pan That palette, so I mean, it's fine, but it is kind of disappointing to say my very first shade I did not use. So I have a total of 7 uses in this project. I did forget to say my main goal for these first 3 shades is to hit pan, but if I don't hit pan within 30 uses, 30, I can roll it out. So I do not anticipate meeting 30 uses before hitting pan in that, but I'm sure I'll have one next update. So the next shadow comes from my ColourPop Mint to Beat palette. It is the shade Mint Tea. This is what it was looking like when I rolled it into the intro. It was basically brand new. I had used it maybe 1 or 2 times. I had 4 uses at the last update, and I definitely had a really good dip forming. And this update, I was able to use it 3 additional times to hit pan. I will admit that I, focused my brush in one area. I know a lot of panners do this, and that's just how I do it too. But I mean, this shade, I used it in my inner corner. I used it like on the inner part of my lid. Like I needed a smaller brush for that anyway, so that's just how I would naturally use it, but I was really happy to hit pan within 7 uses. The next shade comes from my Unearthly Dreamer palette, and I hand selected the shade Tranquil. This rolled in at the last update, and it was barely used. I may have used it once, but I was able to use this 6 times in this last month, and I actually hit pan, you guys. I was so surprised when I hit pan in this, but again, I am using this kind of like an inner corner shade. I use it as a topper. I use it in the inner like third of my lid. So again, I was using a small brush with this, but it is such a beautiful purpley shifty shade. Honestly, all 3 of these shades are kind of used in the same way. I'm okay that I kind of skipped out on this top shade. It'll be really easy pan for me next update again, but this shade from Unearthly is rolling out, and I'm very happy to have a pan in this palette, so it's looking a little more loved. Of course, the rest of the shadows don't look that used, but that's okay with me. The next 2 shades are from Expand Those Pans. Like I said, that was created by Dora, and the first one is from my Half Caked Pretty Precious palette. This is a beautiful, like, neutral palette with like some pops of color in it, and I rolled in the shade Slow Burn. I did forget to say that these are randomized from my spreadsheet, and my goal is to use these 5 times, but I was only able to use this one 3 times. I do see some really nice expansion though, so that is exciting to see. I really was gonna try to hit my 5 uses on these expand those pans shades every month so I could just keep rotating. I mean, I'm gonna blame it on February being a short month, and I'm also gonna blame being sick, so I can't really blame it on being sick though, because I did wear makeup like up until the 28th of February. So I just didn't prioritize the shade. So it is staying in. And then the other shade from Expand Those Pans is from my Profusion Mauves palette, and it is the shade Ooh La La. I also rolled this in last month, and this is what it was looking like. And again, I was only able to use it 3 times. But this is what it's looking like. I do think that the pan has expanded a little bit. And I mean, this is also used in the same way as those other shimmers that I have. Basically like a lid shimmer that I can use either as a base or a topper. But this has been my color story this month, and we are keeping these bottom 2 in and this top one in, so we are getting rid of the color. I guess this shade is a little colorful, but I'm really disappointed that both of my Expand Those Pan shades are staying in, but I hit 2 pans this month, so I can't be too disappointed. Then let's talk about let's see here. Let's talk about my lid setting shade, because I think I already showed it to you on accident from my Pretty Precious. If you were paying attention, you may have not. But last update, I rolled in the shade Delicate, and this is what it was looking like. It was new. I may have used it once or twice. That is a rule me and Tina have, that we cannot work on something that has any like usage on it. And so far, I have used this 19 times, including today. So basically, since the last update, I've done my makeup 19 times. But that does include today, so 18 for good measure. And this is what it's looking like. You can definitely see there's a dip, but I'm nowhere near pan. This top shade, Slow Burn, you can see how deep these pans are. So I'm sure that I have 2 more months in this. And yeah, that's not promising at all. I will swatch it just for fun, but it's literally like similar to my skin tone. Lid setting shade, typical. And then the brow shade that I've been working on comes from my Star Wars The Mandalorian palette. I was housing this in my Marc Jacobs Terrific palette because I had my lid setting shade in that palette as well, and these are magnetic so they pop out. But because I hit my pan in my lid setting shade last month, I did just go ahead and move it back into its original packaging. It is the shade Mythosaur. And this is what it was looking like when I rolled it in. It was, I mean, it had some use on it, not a ton. I got 18 uses out of it last month, and you can definitely see a dip forming. I was pretty confident that I would be able to reach my pan by this update, and I was able to use it 11 more times to hit pan. So this is what that shade is looking like now. I am so happy to have a pan in this palette. And this was a really nice eyebrow shade. I feel like it was a tad bit dark and it leaned slightly warm. It really depended on what I was wearing that day. I feel like my features really kind of shift. They kind of like, my eyes look gray some days, my eyes look blue some days, my eyes look green some days, my eyebrows look red some days, my eyebrows look gray some days. Like I'm very like shifty. I don't know how or why or what, what that means. But this is the shade Swatched. We'll put it, where am I going to put this? Just next to it. So you can kind of see there is like a red kind of goes warm when you blend it out, which is kind of what it looks like on my brows. But because I hit that goal within 11 uses and I have done my makeup 18 times, I was able to move on to a new brow shade, and I chose a shade from my Beauty Bay Metamorphic palette. And there is a beautiful cool toned brown in this palette. It's called Avatar. I will throw up a picture. I didn't take like actual footage, like video footage, which I should have, but this is what it was looking like. And then I'm not going to open the palette all the way because this has like a split opening. It's so weird, and it's very reflective. It's so metallic, like mirrors, but this is what this is looking like. So I am seeing a dip forming, and I've used the shade 7 times. So I will swatch this next to Mythosaur. You can see the difference. And this is also what I have in my brows today. I feel like it's just, you know, that much softer. It's just a little softer. There it is here, a little cooler. I do really think that it works better for me overall. But I mean, it's so hard to be objective towards yourself. So that's my update. I am able to randomize 2 palettes and pick shades from those palettes. I'm very nervous. I was recently decluttered some eyeshadow palettes. I did share those on Instagram. So I currently have, let's see here, 54 eyeshadow palettes. Let's hope that my screen recording works. Random number generator. I don't remember. I think it was my last update actually that it didn't work. Like it didn't save to my phone. I think it's because I don't have very much storage on my phone. But let's change the max to 54 and generate. Oh, I'm scared. 32. So 32, as Lorac Pro Noir. I don't have any pans in that, so our Lorac Shadows Easy. Tell me please. And then the next palette is number 49. Scroll down. 49. Oh my gosh, this is one of my new palettes that was just decluttered to me. The Sydney Grace and Temptalia collab on the horizon. Sydney Grace. I have a feeling that's going to be a 30 user. So, okay. I'll be back. Okay, I have my Lorac. I just used this in a collab with my friend Amy. She is Beauty and Beyond. I will have her link down below. Or I will have our collab video linked down below. We did her dynamic duo collab and we picked eyeshadow shades for each other. So this is what this palette is looking like. All neutrals, which is helpful. I mean, that's good. You guys, I don't know. I'll probably stick with the shimmer. I mean, I don't really know how the mattes or the shimmers, like how long they take. I am panning the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette in my Pan That palette, and so a lot of these are very similar to what I am panning. And then this is the Sydney Grace Temptalia on the Horizon palette. This was decluttered to me, and I mean, this is really beautiful. Like, there are definitely shades that I might not use, like this shade. Oh my gosh, I love Sydney Grace shadows, and I actually don't have any of their palettes. I do have some singles from them. Man. I also don't know how old this palette is, so I mean, it might perform, it might be easier to pan than it was new. So really the only shadow I have swatched out right now is the one from That's Taupe because it's so neutral. I was thinking I could go for a matte, but I am trying to hit pan in the matte, the dark round matte in my Pan That palette. I could go for Lunar Illumination. This looks gorgeous. This is like right up my alley. That is a stunning shade. Should I be like so basic, or do the inner corner shade, Heart Dog? Heart Dog. This shade, Megalon's Light, has some usage in it already, but it's kind of warm for me. And the Rose Quartz shade in my Pan That palette is kind of like a warm pink. So, oh man. This is so hard, you guys. Okay, let's... Please don't judge me. Oh, I do need a matte though. I have all shimmers. Yikes. Okay, what is this matte? This October Odyssey. It feels kind of powdery. That might not be terrible. I think I want to pick that one. Oh, I'm shocked. Have you guys ever hit pan in a Sydney Grace shadow before? It's very soft, but I know that her shadows, there's like a... I actually don't know. I'm pretending that I know what I'm talking about, and I don't know. So I'm going to use that shade. And I want to pick a shimmer out of this Lorac shade or palette. Oh my gosh, what am I saying? Guys, it's so hard to not pick something that will compete with my Pan That palette. It's really hard. It's good. That's pretty. It's gonna compete. Should I do the blue? The blue shimmer? Oh, it's actually kind of like a silver. Like a deep silver. This one. Why am I doing this? I don't know. I'm gonna go for it. This deep bluey, silvery shade. I feel like I'm crazy, but hopefully it'll go fast. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's kind of like a blue brown. It's one of those shades. Honestly, I just don't want to think about it anymore, so I just had to pick. You know, you just have to pick sometimes. And now I'm going to swatch my two other shades from Expand Those Pans, because those are technically part of my color story. I feel like in this look that I'm going to create today, oh, I guess those are fine. I was going to say they're going to compete, but this shade has a lot more reflect. That was from Pretty Precious, and then I'll do my Profusion Mauves. Technically, I'm getting my fourth use on these today. Okay, this is actually pretty cohesive. I didn't even think about that. Technically, I'm getting my fourth use out of my Expand Those Pans shade today. How would you guys count that? Would you count this towards my usage? I always do. Like in my tracking for like the coming month, I always track this use towards the next month. So. Okay. Okay, I gotta create a look really quick. I think it's gonna be easy though. Yes, okay. Let's start off with the matte from Temptalia, from Cindy Grace Temptalia. And I'm gonna try to take this like super light. I'm gonna zoom you in. I'm not gonna zoom you in as much today. I do have a full face of makeup on. Oh, is my camera moving a lot? Is that okay? Okay, I usually zoom you in to one eye, like way closer, but I have a table in front of me today and it's kind of blocking me from scooching you in. So yeah, hopefully my base looks fine. I am actually wearing everything. Everything on my face is not from a panning project because I'm so behind on my updates. I didn't want to ruin my numbers like to go into the next month. I don't know, I felt so weird about it. But it was kind of fun to shop my stash and use some products that are not in projects. And I think it looks fine until I edit it back and it's going to look terrible. So don't mind that if it does look terrible. But I'm going to just take a really fluffy blending brush. Let's take this one from Alter Ego, number 2. And I'm going to dip into October Odyssey from the Sydney Grace. I don't know how, well, I do know how pigmented it is from its swatch, but I don't know how it applies because I've never used it before. So I'm going to take it a little higher than my crease. My eyes they're slightly hooded. You can kind of see. So I do like to take the color slightly higher than my crease. I always say in my crease, but you guys can see what I'm doing. Hopefully this look turns out good because I'm trying to film 2 other videos today. I still need to film my Pan That palette and my Rolling Project 10 pan. But I figured because I have to get ready for those anyway, I could film this video first. And half of the getting ready is on camera. Doing this look. Wow, this shade is super powdery. I will show you just how powdery it is. So hopefully that means it'll go fast. I am going to bring this, not taking any more product, I'm just going to put it on my lower lash line as well. And I'm going to take a clean blending brush because I don't like how much I blew that out. And I'm just going to kind of soften it a little bit, hopefully. So yeah, my whole house is sick. Actually, my husband did go to work today, but he just didn't have any more sick days left, which is very unfortunate. If he had more sick days, he would have stayed home. But I mean, I feel okay like sitting here. I am like, there's just like this dull, nauseous feeling. And if I eat anything, I'm gonna have some problems. But yeah, it all started on Friday. My, what am I gonna do next? I'm gonna deepen out the outer corner with this shade from Pretty Precious. I went to work on Friday. Well, I started on Thursday and I went to work on Friday and I have to leave like way before my baby wakes up. So when he woke up, my sister sent me a video and he had thrown up in his crib. Of course, this is like the second day I'm away from him ever. And I'm not there to be with him when he throws up. Imagine my little tender heart. I'm surprised I'm not crying right now. But my sister was like, he's acting normal, like he's acting totally fine. So I don't know if it's like a fluke or what, but he ate breakfast totally fine. He ate snack totally fine, like he was acting totally normal. He didn't throw up at all the rest of the day. I'm so sorry if this topic bugs you. I should have put a disclaimer, and I probably will on the screen. But yeah, he was acting totally normal until, so my husband got home before me from work, which is unheard of. Of course, I'm always home when he gets home because I'm used to not being at work. And my son was acting totally fine. Just gonna blend that out with the clean brush. He was totally fine, and I was in the bathroom right after getting home from work, and my husband texts me and says, "I need you." I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming." And my baby had thrown up again in his room. I'm getting a bunch of like stuff on my cheek. That was a clean brush. I was trying to wipe it away and it totally made it worse. And I don't have anything in front of me to clean it up except a makeup wipe. That's gonna ruin my whole face. You guys, I don't have time for this. Oh my gosh. Wow, I'm about to cry. Okay, don't be dramatic, Stephanie. I do not have time for this. I'm just gonna like pat. And of course, my little red eye thing is popping through my makeup now. You can see that there too. I'm just gonna leave it. Sorry. Sorry, y'all. Next. I'm gonna do this on the inner half of my lid and this on like marrying the two together, and I'll do this in the inner corner. Hopefully that works out. So, what did I just say? Yes. Profuse your mouths. But he was acting normal. Like even after throwing up, he wasn't acting upset or, anything. So we like sat him down for a regular dinner and he threw up again without even like touching his food. So we're like, okay, there is something up. And so I texted my boss. I'm like, hey, just FYI, my son, whatever, I may have brought a bug because, I haven't talked about my new job yet, but when I go to the office, it's in their home. So that's not good, and they have children. So I texted them, and they're like, oh, thank you so much for letting us know. Hopefully you guys will feel better over the weekend. And that night we were fine, but the next morning my baby woke up with a fever, so he was definitely sick. I'm just gonna go in straight with the darker shade just while I'm working on this eye, that blue, and bridge the gap. So yeah, Saturday was hard. Not thankfully because I wanted to see him, but thankfully my stepson had plans with his school on Saturday, so he wasn't at our house. So he wasn't like exposed to the sickness, but he did come later that evening And he didn't get to our home until like 7 maybe, and he went straight to his room and was hanging out in there. But again, we thought we were totally fine. It was just the baby that was sick. And then that evening, my husband started to feel nauseous. I'm like, uh-oh, you know, just take it easy. Whatever, you know, we'll just see how the night goes. It's like 10 p.m. and he's rushing to the bathroom because he's gonna, you know, vomit. And I was like, oh, great. And then I started feeling it. And long story short, we were up all night, every half hour, every hour. I don't want to get too graphic. Things were happening at the same time. Let's just say that. It was awful. It was miserable. It was terrible. And so my husband texted my stepson's mom and had her come get him so he wouldn't be exposed to us. Thankfully, she was able to do that. And oh my gosh, it was just like a nightmare. I don't think this is going to look good in the inner corner, but we'll see. So yeah, Sunday was pretty miserable. Taking cold-blooded. And we were out of commission with a sick baby, sick adults. So, and it has improved. Obviously, like I'm sitting here fine. Like before, even if I wasn't eating, if I wasn't doing anything, I was just throwing up every like half hour until I was empty. Yes, lovely visual. That's way too dark for my inner corner, but I don't really know what else to do. So anyway, Monday my husband stayed home from work and we all kind of just took care of each other. Like you have to, you know what I mean? Like you gotta do what you gotta do. But I was so afraid of getting my work sick going in. So they just were like, okay, let's just have you come in on Wednesday. Let's just be really safe. So today's Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be able to go in Wednesday, but I really don't know. I'm still very nauseous, like I said. But my husband had to go to work, and baby boy is like fine. He's totally back to normal. So it is, you know, promising. What should I do on my lower lash? Hopefully you guys cannot hear. My heater just kicked on, and it sounds weird. I'm just going to leave my lower lash line like this. I think it's a simple, nice little look. I feel like it's very cohesive. Wow, I just got very nauseous. I'm going to throw on some mascara. I do have a little bit on. I did eat maybe like an equivalent of 1 egg, like scrambled eggs this morning, while I was making breakfast for baby boy, and I had a piece of toast. And so far that is sitting okay. And I've just been eating ice, trying to stay hydrated. I know the ice isn't like a ton, but if I drink too much water, then I get nauseous. I like this look. I really wish this did not happen. What a tragedy. I will zoom you guys out and we can look at everything as a whole. Okay, yeah, I really love this. I could easily wear this every day if I wanted to. Of course, I have other things that I'm working on, my Pan That palette. I have other shades in different projects, like for No Pan Left Behind and things like that, so I definitely can't wear these every day, but I will try my darndest to get a lot of use out of them. I know for sure I will have a pan in this palette next update, and I will for sure have my 2 Expand Those Pans shades rolling out, so we will have new shades next update no matter what. And if you enjoyed, I hope you give this video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe if you're not already. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.